So good morning everyone gathered over here. Welcome to this insightful session that is on youth at the crossroads, catalyzing climate action through sustainable and cultural tourism. My name is Gurpreet Chaudhary. I am privileged to serve as a moderator today. I am the Director of Research and Innovation at the Association of Professional Social Workers and Development Practitioners India. As we gather here at COP29 in the era of rapid urbanization, transformative transportation advancements and the pressing demand for sustainable energy, we find ourselves at a pivotal juncture today. Today's youth are not just observers but active participants with the power to redefine the future of climate action. Right? Sustainable and cultural tourism offers a unique opportunity for youth, young leaders to address pressing environmental challenges while fostering inclusivity and pressing the rich cultural heritage of our world. So this section, we will explore key themes that link urbanization, transportation and energy to sustainable tourism, and most importantly the role of youth in leading these transformative initiatives. So I would like to start with my first speaker, that is Sean Karakatu. So Sean, can you tell us about your upcoming AI-powered short film and how it has inspired youth mobilization and cultural preservation? So Sean, please.
Hello, so to quickly introduce myself, my name is Sean Karakatu. I serve as the director of Tomorrow in Focus, which is an AI-powered nonprofit production house in Nashville, Tennessee. And some of the big work that we've been doing in terms of youth and preservation is to work going toward UNCCD COP in Saudi Arabia. We've been working toward building out a new AI film, essentially working on thinking about art and activism and bringing those two together. And often the ideals in that realm is thinking about art, kind of this artivist role. And that's kind of where we see our role in bringing together both technology, youth agency, and cultural preservation. Yeah, thank you for the introduction. To give a little bit more about the project, what we're working on is a 6-minute short film with the Desertification Agency and the G20 Global Land Initiative at the UNCCD. And there I serve as the North America Youth Focal Point, and that project really has guided us to think about both where do youth play a huge role in the project, and the film looks at 3 different countries. So we take a look at Senegal, we take a look at China, we take a look at the United States and Brazil as kind of these key agents of change and understanding how does the same process of desertification impact these different countries, both, for example, in Senegal, we think about the Sahel, and think about like the growth of the Sahara coming into these different regions in Africa. In Brazil, we're thinking about the mangroves and the forests. In Nashville, the United States generally, we're thinking about kind of forest fires and land degradation. And in China, we're thinking about the hills and rice cultivation and production. So each of these different areas, we've essentially taken artificial intelligence using both the runway and Midjourney as a methodology to depict this young girl's imagination and to bring her to the forefront, right? We're trying to do 2 things, right? Starting off is highlighting this key mission of desertification and highlighting the mission of the G20 Global Land Initiative to reduce land degradation by 50% by 2040, but also in that effort, one of the big things that we're trying to push is greater technological access in these large forums of the United Nations, especially as we think about in this year all 3 Rio conventions coming together.
Thank you, Sean, for highlighting the role of youth as agents of culture preservation and energy advocacy. Your insights into how traditional practices can align with modern renewable energies and the AI technology we are having these days. So thank you. So now I would like to take views of our next speaker, that is Chengguan Awan. So how can peace tourism serve as a catalyst for climate action, and what are some challenges and opportunities you have encountered in promoting this idea? Yes, please.
Good morning, and thank you, Mr. Chair, for the opportunity to be here to speak. My name is Chengguan Awan. I'm the president and co-founder of Peace and Leadership Organization, we basically focus on two things: advocacy and capacity building. So related to the questions, to me, I think tourism is everyone's obligation, because whatever you're promoting on the rights and interests of where you are, regardless of your nationality. So wherever you are, it is your job to do that. And coming to the peace, because tourism play a key role in terms of bringing different people together, harmonize diversity among people. And if I talk on the issues of the youth, tourism is the key that bring a lot of young people together, whereby they travel from one country to another country, and it's a kind of harmony, it creates unity in diversity. So I basically applaud that, with physical coexistence among young people, and also promotion of interconnection between state and nation, between people from country to country, from different background, and also from different status of life. It shows that it is everyone opportunity and unity to promote the cultural identity, and also influence the tourism among nations, among states, and also among young people. So it is very important that we have to prioritize coming together as one people, because this is how we can create the need and grow together with state and people. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Chairman Awam. You enacted the role of youth in the upcoming future to make his tourism sustainable and cultural rich. So now I would like to ask Manish Kumar from India to give his views on how we can improve sustainable and ecotourism through our roots in culture tourism in India. Yes, please.
Thank you, Gurpreet. Thank you for bringing us on board. So, good morning to all, and welcome you all to COP29, and welcome you all to this session. So, my name is Manish, and I'm from TerraSource Solutions. I'm the founder and CEO. So, talking about TerraSource, so we are a sustainable organization where we work in decentralizing the whole sustainable industry. So our approach is to work with the underprivileged people and try to bring them on board in the sustainable journey that the world is talking about. So as a TerraSource, our projects in line with working with farmers, currently in line with working with farmers, where we are working with farmers into different parts of India. We are bringing them on board with our company's platform. We are helping them with all the professional helps, needs, technology, knowledge transfer. We are also helping the farmers to get on board in carbon financing. So we are collaborating with Indian ecosystem of corporates and organizations. So we are also taking helps of carbon credits as a term of financing. We are helping these farmers to get the carbon credits and also trade in the international market, so that the economy can be the sustainable economy can be boosted as to much higher pace. If we talk about sustainable tourism, so our vision is not just to decentralize the sustainable market, but also to create sustainable economy along the routes of different parts of the world. So in terms of that, we are also trying to pitch the organizations and the corporates to bring their employees, bring their staffs to the ground level to see how the sustainable, how the real social economy is all about. So we are basically trying to create a circular, circular ecosystem where the corporates and also the tribal India can come together and work it into a single platform. That's all.
Thank you, Manish. As someone involved in carbon credit startup, so if anybody is interested to see how carbon credit system works and future will be dependent on that, because MNCs and all need these kind of support from these kind of startups. So thank you so much. So I want to now listen from Irfan Pulani. Irfan, can you please brief us about the how can peace tourism serve as a catalyst for climate action, and what are some challenges and opportunities you have encountered in promoting this idea? Thank you. Please.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. First of all, I'm really sorry to be a bit late. I was having another meeting outside the venue, so thank you so much for having us here and doing this wonderful session, very relevant session on the crossroads, capitalizing climate action to sustainable and cultural tourism. My name is Irfan Pulani, and here speaking a bit about peace tourism and how can it advance the climate action efforts. I'm here at the COP29 representing my university, the University for Peace, which is the only intergovernmental institution in the world mandated by the UN to advance peace studies and sustainable education. So I'm interested in this topic. My original background is in human rights and conflict resolution, but I'm also interested in peace tourism because in 2019 I started a project in Kashmir, a peace building research project, and one of the organs of my research project is something called peace tourism. And the concept, as it sounds, promotes peace through tourism as a cultural exchange, as connecting people, bridging people from various contexts and cultures. At this point, I'm working on a very exciting project where we are trying to build a climate action advocacy through peace tourism. And to talk more about it, I would go back to the ground what we did. For example, in 2020, we had a delegation from different states of India, mostly professionals working on. There were a group of doctors, we had a group of educators and public workers, and they traveled to Kashmir, of course, to have a beautiful scenic view of what's happening and the geographical beauty of Kashmir. But along with that, we did multiple projects, short-term projects like a climate camp, a medical camp, for example, and we also had open classrooms where we taught some students. So this is the exact meaning of what we mean with peace tourism, like bringing professionals, bringing people from different parts of the country and also at some point from different parts of the world, not only to have the normal enjoyment of tourism, the scenic tourism, but also to mingle on ground with Kashmir, with the local communities, and in my case it was Kashmir. So this helped the professionals not only to understand the on-ground realities of the region, but also learn more about their cultures, to interlink, to break that barriers of commercial tourism as we have such. And back home, they acted as the agents of change. We had a lot of stereotypes, stigmas about the region, what's happening in the region, what do the people behave like, how do they approach the people from other states, other parts of the world. But they acted, and they are still acting as agents of change to breaking that stigma about the people in this specific conflict-ridden area. So that's why peace tourism is important. And now linking up with what we are discussing here about integrating the models of climate action with peace tourism. Like we use these spaces, we use this model of peace tourism to advocate for climate action, and having youth at the front lines, at the forefronts of these models. I think it's very inspiring and it's very impactful. We can advocate for the scarcity of resources, how sustainable tourism practices can develop more tourism, in fact cultural tourism as such, and that's why this topic is important, I feel. And also it can interlink, it can break that cyclic level of narratives and transformation of awareness from different parts of the world, different regions where we know, of course, having a conflict, an ongoing conflict, intensify the environmental challenges that we face in different parts of the world. So I want to highlight something that I spoke in a different event yesterday on human rights and climate justice also, because we know that there is no human rights without climate justice, and also there is no climate justice without human rights. So one thing I've been observing even here at the COP and the previous COPs as such is we touch very minimal about human rights, and we need more active conversation, more active lenses on dialogues and conversation on the human rights aspects of climate change, and for that youth and also using tourism as a methodology to advance the climate action advocacy is something very important. And I once again thank the organizers of this wonderful and relevant session on this Tourism Day here at COP29, and looking forward for further collaborations and partnerships from our organization, and also and all these dialogues, important dialogues that we are having. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time, and have a good day.
Irfan, thank you so much for shedding the light on peace tourism as a powerful tool for climate action, and sharing your initiatives and case studies for that you have been going through. So now I would like to listen from our new friend, that is Lian Jiang
From China, yeah, please.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jia Liang, and I'm honored to speak here as a youth representative from China. And I currently study at the senior high school affiliated to Shanghai Jiaotong University. I've been fortunate to witness firsthand how education is our understanding of global challenges. And just for me, when it comes to the cultural tourism, earlier this year I participated in the exchange program at Harvard University. And during this experience, I began reflecting on the differences between Eastern and Western education, particularly in preparing students to address global issues like climate change. I realized that while East Asian education emphasizes comprehensive knowledge and a strong fundamental understanding, Western education often focuses more on practical exploration and specialized inquiry. We can take a look at the text they have. And for this page, we have seen that the art major students in Western education, they do a test for more easy and more understandable. But when people major in art, they often ignore the importance of climate change, and they couldn't handle the really easy about climate change or just the greenhouse effect. And when it comes to the students specializing in geography, it faces more complex and more multi-dimensional questions, like about the beach erosion in Indonesia. And these two examples show us that students under the Western education system shows a really good gap in understanding the process of climate action. And it brings me to something that's really thoughtful, as it is widely acknowledged that no education system is perfect. Let me have something to say. For instance, in East Asia, we excel at compulsory education, such as in China, in Japan, in Korea, and in India. And we are really being ensured that we will gain a solid foundation in core subjects with very high test scores to gain the acknowledgement. However, we students often lack the opportunities for practical learning and inquiry-based exploration. So we often gain a high score in tests, but we often lack the ability to handle or tackle the real problems in our real life. And on the other hand, in the Western education system, there is a focus on fostering creativity and practical problem solving, but sometimes, just as the example said, they are at the expense of less necessary fundamental knowledge. So this brings me to a broader point. The challenge of climate change is not limited by borders, and neither should our approach to education be. Education must evolve to address the global nature of the issues we face. We must share best practices across regions and cultures, and we must ensure that climate literacy is a fundamental part of every student's education, whether they are in China, the United States, in India, or anywhere else in the world. Quality education today must move beyond simply imparting knowledge. Just like the cultural tourism said and the aim behind it, we must obey the global acknowledgement and to move together and work together to have a better education foundation. And to achieve this, we must invest in the right educational resources. Currently, resources are spent on activities that don't directly address urgent challenges. As a student, I would rather spend time learning how to tackle climate change rather than just improving test scores. We need to focus on relevant and impactful learning experiences, such as climate education, that prepare us for the challenges ahead. Therefore, to achieve this goal, I advise that government should introduce clear policies requiring schools to organize at least one climate education-focused educational activity each academic year, just like my cultural tourism to the Harvard University, and I have gained a lot from that experience. Schools should also be transparent by publicly reporting their budgets and spending on climate education every academic year, making their commitment visible and accountable. Through the efforts above, schools can enable more students to learn how to approach complex climate issues thoughtfully and practically. We need to fill the gap in the education between the eastern, the western, the south, and the north. It is about the quality education, and it is more about the human equality. I believe that with the collective efforts by governments, communities, and individuals all over the world, the educational gap in climate understanding will narrow and the role of climate education will grow. There will be a promising future waiting for us. And in conclusion, as young people, through me and as the youth, which will be the future power of the world, we bear the responsibility of shaping the future. Education is the key to unlocking our potential as problem solvers and innovators, and we must prioritize climate education across all disciplines and invest in creating a generation of leaders who are ready to take on the most significant challenges of our time. Thanks for listening.
Thank you, Leon, for giving your insights and enlightening us about how these initiatives are helping through the education and for the youth. So thank you so much. So now I would like to have words from our Karthik Chale. So please, Karthik, can you tell us how youth-driven innovations in climate-conscious tourism you are doing?
So hello everyone. So it's my pleasure to be here representing the University of India and UA. So I'm a youth climate leader from India. So I'm the one who is working with the ground people, working with the community over there. Like I have in-road experience of working with the community and finding the local youths in ecotourism board. So I work as a resource person for Karnataka Ecotourism Development Board. I have a working experience of 4 years with the youths over there. So as I work as a wildlife researcher with the community over there, like I've been working with the wildlife space in and around the protected areas. I came across like how I can build a sustainable tourism, how I can build the environment for the local youths over there. So we are thought of starting up some initiatives for the local youths over there. So I have first-hand experience like tourism and climate responsibility is very much responsible for necessary partnerships. So tourism and conservation are inherently interconnected. While tourism will bring us an economy, but also it puts some of a fragile ecosystem into a threat. So youth with their innovation, energy and ability to adapt for the technology are uniquely positioned in revolutionizing the tourism into a climate conscious endeavor. I want to share some of my work examples which I have been working with the youths over there. So my work in climate conscious tourism is like finding a nature guides where we will be selecting the people, local youths or the community people in and around the protected areas, and training them and giving them education and giving them conscious green skills, so which will enter us to a green economy, for training them like how to track an animal, how to identify birds, how to build a nature stories by natural history stories. And we also, by this, we are also empowering them and giving them opportunity for the employment opportunities. It will lead us to visitors, and visitors are also will be educated, and they will also get the conscious about how we should run a sustainable tourism. So why we should not threaten the ecosystem, like why to conserve the wild animals. So it will lead to a sustainable tourism. And one more thing is like community-centered ecotourism we are doing. Of course, like one more the other project we are doing is like community-centered ecotourism. So where I have conducted like 100+ camp for the community people, like where I will be training them as an advocate for the sustainable tourism. Where we have a program called Ecotourism Development Committee, Eco Development Committee, under the Joint Forest Management Program in Karnataka. So where we will be connecting an ecotourism areas, where we will be joining with the local communities over there. They will be the stakeholders of that. So they will be collecting certain revenue for the visitors, and that will be shared along with the committee members. So it will bring them it will generate a revenue for them, and it will also give employment opportunities, and they will be getting to know like why the conservation is important, why that place is very much important, and the conservation, and they will be also giving information for the visitors. And one more practice which we are doing is sustainable practice in protected areas. So where I will be connecting a nature camps, education camps, birding trials, nature trials for the people who are visiting to that areas, and I will be advocating them why this is very much important, why you should not litter here, why you should not throw garbage over here. So that will be getting some knowledge to the visitors who will be visiting that place, and they will be getting some sessions to the visitors encourage responsible tourism and will have an adaptive behavior, no litter, avoiding population noise, etc. And innovations by youth in climate conscious tourism is like green infrastructure in tourism. Like people, as I was reading to one of the reports, so I got to know like sustainable tourism is getting like $13 billion, and it will be increasing like 18% in upcoming years. And government is also encouraging a sustainable tourism, like India is a hub for biodiversity, and people will come there in looking after the ecotourism, which will be like people are much interested in green infrastructure development, like eco-friendly lodges, depending upon renewable energy like solar energy kind of thing. And I also come across some of the communities who are already having a hydroelectricity and also having a waste management can reduce which will lead to the carbon footprint reduction. And we also have a technology for responsible tourism, where youths are the hubs for the technology. Youths are getting adopted for the technologies, where they can build a community-centered tourism, where they can generate an economy from that. And we also have a community-driven revenue models. For that, tourism models which prioritize community as the key stakeholders, like our eco-development committees plan, our eco-tourism development plan. And this is what I like to share about, like keeping community as a center and training the community youths as their stakeholders. It will enter the revenue and it will lead to the green economy. Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you, Karthik, for sharing how you are giving opportunities to youth by giving training and also focusing on ecotourism, so that our biodiversity will be conserved and the tourists will learn how we can do that. So thank you, Karthik. Now I would like to call to Hina. Yes, Hina.
Hello everyone, my name is Hina. I am from India. I am youth climate leader with UNICEF India and Goa. I am here because I am representing my youths, our community youths, because I am from a very background village, very backward village in India. Because I'm the first girl who are working on climate change. I'm the first girl who came here for the first time, because in my area, people doesn't allow to go outside, especially for girls. So I'm making aware people, I'm educating them, because in my place, there is no school after 8th standard. So it's very challenging for me to change the adjusting mind. So I'm here because I'm the voice for those people who have been left behind, who fight their dreams and for their families and for a better tomorrow. So it's my first experience, and I'm here because I want to learn more things. I want to obey people more because I want to be a role model for our community so they can turn towards sustainability practices. So that's all about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Nina, for sharing the local community, how they are facing the challenges of the education for the girls. But you are doing great, so we hope that you will achieve your goal soon. So now I think we have covered all. Nisha, would you like to say something? Yeah, so please, Nisha.
Hi, I'm Manisha and I am also a youth climate leader with UNICEF India. So I was just reading Catalyzing Climate Action Through Sustainable and Cultural Tourism. I will just share one story. I think that would do, and that would share a lot of perspectives here. So I've grown up in a Himalayan, very small town called Ranikhet, and it has, like, growing up there has told me a lot of values, has taught me a lot of values about sustainability, and mostly like what we are talking about here, transportation, climate friendly tourism. So I think it is inherently in us as people from the mountains. But our small town, it always thrived on local resources, minimal infrastructure, using local, local resources out there. And we were living in harmony with nature. But suddenly, if I look back in just past 1 decade, we saw a huge influx of tourists, and the town was not ready to handle such influx. And so there are constant, traffic jams or maybe landslides happening. So a lot of, a lot of homestays are being built because of people coming in. So while we are talking about climate-friendly tourism, one is that I realized because social media has become a huge thing, there are villages that are not even found. For example, my village was very, very far, and you have to walk for 2 hours. There is no road, but that village is also like seeing a lot of tourists nowadays. So it's not just the responsibility of the government, or it is not just the responsibility of the panel here. I think as individuals, we also have to realize that how much do we want to travel. And when we are talking about tourism, there has to be a purpose aligned with your tourism. Why do you want to go to some? That is my perspective and my take on it. For example, if I'm here in Azerbaijan, why am I here? What is my purpose? So that drove me, and that gives me a sense of purpose here to talk about climate-friendly tourism. And also in our area, what happened due to am I taking too much time? I can share no. So what happened due to rapid urbanization, and especially in a very eco-fragile zone like Himalayan region. Himalayas are very much prone to earthquakes. They are very much prone to landslides and a lot of disasters otherwise. So what happened due to this is resources got very less because there were a lot of people coming in. And the other thing is overwhelmed transportation, because we used to use taxis, but now there are buses. Because to meet the demand of the tourists, there are a lot of transportation tweaks are being made, and they are not good. For example, we can't really go like electric transportation. We can't use in Himalayas. It's more problematic. For example, so while we are talking about transportation, making it sustainable, there are places where thinking about it is also complex, because the local conservation of designs, traditions. So we used to have like a hut kind of a house, but now there is no houses. We are just losing the culture of our what do we say, design of houses, the traditional practices. This is one example that I gave you about the swimming pool. There are other things also that are being affected. For example, food practices. We are losing a lot of indigenous food because of this. There is nobody to grow it. And what I have seen is, in places like very rural places, what is happening, because a lot of people are getting, a lot of ideas about, what happens. So I realized that a lot of people in the rural areas want to become, like urban people. So that is one more area that I found, like it is affecting us as people from the villages, people from the Himalayan regions, because we just want to replicate the urban lifestyle there, which is not suited for us. So these are some challenges that I find, culturally not very good for us. And where we come as youth, I realize this, just to hold on to our practices, just to talk to our grandparents, our parents, and also like I am working in community building in India. So we have a community of 80 plus people who believe in the joy of sustainability, as in living a sustainable, simple lifestyle. Whatever resources that you need, you can, like I shared, I am from a village. We lived in the constraint of resources. So that's what we are doing. This community is beautiful, and that's what we as youth are doing there. And intervening at the education sector. For example, if kids will not understand about this, who will? So that's how we are working in the education sector for spreading the joy of sustainability. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
So, as I'm working with the ecotourism people nowadays, like as I see like Karnataka, how it's developing, and we are seeing like people moving on for the tourists. So as I see like more people are coming into Western Ghats and more people are interested to mountain area. So as I see like there are places which attract more tourists, but there are places which doesn't attract more tourists. But when the human like carbon footprint is more, like human footprint is more, that will be affecting the ecosystem. Right? So that will be affecting the ecosystem. But we need to distribute those people into different areas. How we can attract more people into different areas. So we have built a certain project called as like training the local youth. So we are teaching them like how we can tell the people about like telling the facts about the areas. So that will attract more people. That time we are generating like lots of rupees from certain areas. So we are distributing that to the areas which are not underdeveloped, and we are developing that areas, and we are having certain project partners and like installing informative boards over there on the trails, which will give information about that areas, how, like why that place is important, telling them about the natural history of that place, telling about the telling about the tradition of that place, telling about the historical concept, historical context of that place. So that will be getting the more people will be getting interested, and we are also installing some boards like which are the nearby places in that area. So that we can distribute the people over there and we can control the human footprint over there. So this is how we are managing, and we are also getting a good economy out of it. So training the local youths is very much important for developing a sustainable tourism.
Thank you, Karthik, and thank you, Manisha, for telling us that how Himalayas are already having a sustainable practices, but due to over tourism, influx, you are facing some problems. But you have to tell the world that how we can do still sustainable and ecotourism with our own practices. So now I think we can open our discussion to any audience that we like to ask questions from our speakers. So is there anybody?
Yeah, I can add a quick comment. I think the alignment of a lot of what our speakers have been talking about today have been quite interesting, both in terms of thinking about all of these topics in synergy with each other. The youth as people of cultural preservation, tying that in with the tourism sector, as well as the Eastern versus Western kind of education models. And I think each of that really shows that like understanding your fundamental community is a part of transformative change, no matter the environment, whether urban or rural, whether you are getting a Western or Christian education. And I think that has been shown throughout each of our communities and work streams that we are currently practicing on today.
Yes, thank you. So I think there are no more questions in the session. So now we will move towards one MOU signing, and after that we will have one group photograph. So thank you. So thank you. We have two more MOUs, but unfortunately, two of our friends are unable to able to reach here on time. So we will sign them with later. So now I would like to conclude. Then we will reach, settle here in front of this board for a group photograph. So thank you everybody. You pointed out the issues and also the good initiatives were taken by your states and your areas. So youth stand at the intersection of urbanization, transportation and energy challenges, and holding the potential to transform tourism into a force for climate action and cultural preservation. By embracing renewable energy, promoting sustainable urbanization and innovating eco-friendly transportation solutions, they can lead the global transition toward sustainable and cultural tourism. The actions of today's youth leaders will shape tomorrow's and the upcoming future, either as a source of environmental strain or a cornerstone of a sustainable and culturally enriched world. So I hope we will get many points and we will get back to our original areas and we will try to implement these points. So thank you so much for the participants and the speakers. Now we'll move for the photographs. Thank you. Please join us here. Thank you. Yes, please. Yes, please. Now you can stop. Please turn off the video. You come. Okay. You turn off the video.